Welcome again, all our viewers, to today's teaching on the Rock channel. My name is Reverend Dr. 𝗪𝗪, your host. I still believe that you're following and being blessed by the teachings from this channel. It's a channel that believes that a life built on the principles and values of the Word of God is a life established on the rock, and that life will withstand the inevitable storms of life. So far, we're bringing teachings across the way that borders on marriage, how to avoid the bickerings and fightings and separations and divorce that is engulfing our marriages today. We are profiling solution of intimacy as an alternative to divorce. And in our last teaching, we started to look at the different love languages. There are ways of expressing your love to your partner in the language or dialect that he or she can understand and appreciate. If you're not using the right approach, the right dialect, your spouse may be misunderstanding your expression of love. He or she may feel that you don't love him while you are doing everything within your power to show it, but simply because you're not using the right language. And we had looked at the first three expressions of love, or the love languages, called the words of affirmation. There are couples that appreciate words of affirmation. They want you to speak something good to their ear at different times of the day. There are also those that appreciate gifts. They like to receive gifts from you as a show of your love to them. And then we looked at the other one also, which has to do with quality time. You have to spend quality time with your spouse. To them, that is how they want to appreciate your love. Not just buying gifts, not just staying far from them, but they want you to stay very close to them. They want you to share time with them together. Today we're continuing with the fourth love language or expression of love, called acts of service. Acts of service. It has to do with rendering services to your spouse as a way to communicate your love to him or her. A spouse that understands this love language feels loved and cared for when a service is willingly rendered to him or her. Such services like cooking a meal, setting a table for meals, taking out the trash, fixing things that spoil in the house, walking the dog, assisting in changing diapers, cleaning the car, all those domestic work things that are done at home. When, for example, a wife that cherishes this as an expression of love, when the husband is with her in the kitchen, helping her to wash dishes as she's cooking, helping her to peel the onions and peel the carrots, and fixing things. Maybe the bulb is not working and he's able to change the bulb. The tap is having some problems and he's able to fix it. All those stuff, the woman feels love. Oh, this man cares for me. He always want to assist me do things. Or you wake up in the morning, if your wife likes this kind of expression of love and you want to give her a little shake up in the morning, you sneak out of bed and go and prepare breakfast and bring to her on the bed. Oh, this will make her run crazy. And so this is another way of expression of love. It is another love language that spouses cherish. But remember what we discussed in the words of affirmation. When you are using this as a way of expression of love, the acts of service, it must not be demanded. It must not be demanded. You are not the one to use somehow to ask your spouse, hey, go and do that thing, hey, go and do this one, go and do that one. No, it should be requested. It should be requested with a very soft words and humble manner. You are demanding it, you are driving the love away from your spouse. You are drying up the emotion, the willingness to do that. But when it is expressed, I served her tea in bed today, and the next day she said, oh wow, I cherished that, I loved it, I wish I can get it again. It is a request, not a demand from her. And so this is very, very important, that it must be something that is done willingly, not by force. Willingly, not by force. I want to express it again. When you are forcing your husband to go and wash plates, to go and do this or do that, you are not, or you may not get the best from him. You are bossing him around. And when you also as a man will command the woman, hey, I'm hungry, don't you know I need to go and cook that food and bring it here, and the environment become hostile. So love language that has to do with acts of service must be from the heart. It must be willingly and rendered as a way of expression of love, not as a command. Okay, so the next one is physical touch. Everybody knows that physical touch is a way of communicating emotional and physical love. It is a phenomenon that is traceable to child development. Children that are born and they enjoyed cuddled by their parents, being hugged and kissed. Their parents play with them. The parents, made them feel, pampered and all those stuff. They grow with emotional strength. They grow with the feeling of being loved. But children that their parents just gave birth to them and nobody cared for them, they grew on their own, no cuddling, no kissing, no playing. Okay, if they're hungry, they have to get it by crying and crying their eyes out before they can get the food. Those children grow up and with the mindset that nobody loved them, they were not cared for. So physical touch is a strong expression of love, both to couples and in fact to everybody. So physical touch can be carried out in times and places as holding hands when you are taking a walk, touching legs under the dining table, lying on your spouse's laps, or, when watching the television, hugging, when entering the house, and every single opportunity in the home, you touch one another. It is well cherished as an expression of love. And I want to bring out a question here, which I feel should be nagging in our hearts. How do I know the love language of my spouse? How do I determine what my spouse cherishes, or the dialect that she understands in expression of love? The answer is just simple, but it's not just as simple as it is. Anyway, any area you feel or you always see your spouse criticizing you is indirectly an expression of what she is expecting from you. That's the key to unlock that question. How to determine the love language of your spouse. Any area you see your spouse criticizing you, some criticisms should not be taken as bad, or he doesn't like what I'm doing, he's always nagging at me, he's always no. That could be a way of telling you, look, I wish I can get more of this. I wish you can develop this area in our relationship. So spouses criticize their partners most loudly in the areas where they themselves have the deepest emotional needs. Their criticism is an ineffective or indirect way of pleading for love. Criticisms need to be clarified. It needs to be understood. You need to sit down and pause and ask, why is she always, criticizing me in this area? Maybe that's area she is expecting me to show her more love. And so this is the key to discovering what language your wife or your husband understands. And it is the understanding of this will help us. If we understand it, it will help us handle the criticisms in a more productive manner. It will help us not just to view it ordinarily as antagonism and separate, but it will help us to really process the mind of our partners on how best to show love to them. So this rate of divorce and bickerings and quarrelings we are seeing in our marriages today can be well avoided if we are able to find out the language that our partners understand in expression of love. and then do our best to feel the love tanks of our partners. if the emotional needs of our partners are being met, their love tanks will be receiving more deposits. By the time you discover the love language of your partner and you are expressing it to him or her in the manner that she understands it, she'll be feeling loved, she'll be feeling indebted to you, she'll also be looking for a way to show his or her own love to you. There will be a good exchange. There will be, receiving and giving, of love towards one another. Gary Chapman wrote, and I want to use it to conclude this very aspect of the teaching. We each come to marriage with a different personality and history. We bring emotional baggage into our marriage relationship. We come with different expectations, different ways of approaching things, and different opinions about what matters in life. In a healthy marriage, that variety of perspectives must be possessed. We need not agree on everything, but we must find a way to handle our differences so that they do not become divisive. With empty love tanks, couples tend to argue and withdraw, and some may tend to be violent verbally or physically in the arguments. But when the love tank is full, we create a climate of friendliness, a climate that seeks to understand, that is willing to allow differences and to negotiate problems. I am convinced that no single area of marriage affects the rest of marriage as much as meeting the emotional need for love. Gary Chapman. And I want us to begin to review what we have taught in this topic. How much are you depositing in the emotional tank of your spouse? What will your spouse remember you of when you are not there at home? You wake up in the morning, you go to work, and she's alone at home or he's alone at home. What will he be thinking about you? In which area is he or she missing you? Have you been able to discover the dialect that your spouse understands? If you have not, these teachings by now should be of great help to you. And if you do, please begin to work on it. Begin to set it in motion. Begin to practice it. There is no better place than a peaceful marriage, a joyous marriage, a fruitful marriage. Go ahead and build your marriage. Angels will not come and build it for you. No matter how much you fast and pray, you need to do some things by yourselves. Enough of the fighting, enough of the quarreling. Discover what you can do to make your partner happy. And as you are focusing on that, your partner also will be doing his or her own to make sure that your own can also be filled. And that will help you to move in your marriage. So I want you to begin to like and share what you are getting from this teaching. Put them into practice. Share to your loved ones. Somebody out there needs these teachings. If you have not been following our teachings or you've been missing the previous ones, go to the YouTube, log in OTR, 𝗵𝗽𝗏 You will get all our teachings, all from the scratch. All the videos, all the teachings that were posted, they're out there. You can go through them and it will be of great help to you. In our next teaching, we want to focus on restoring intimacy in marriage, how to restore intimacy in our marriages. Until then, God bless you, God keep you, God keep watch over you and your relationship.